Okay, being 7:05, étant 19h05, I'll call this regular council meeting to order. J'appelle cette réunion régulière du conseil à l'ordre. You have in front of you an agenda. Vous avez devant vous un ordre du jour. Can someone move the agenda, please?
So move.
Moved by conseiller Savoie. Do we have a seconder, un secondeur?
Second.
Seconded by Deputy Mayor Cyr. On the question, sur la question, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Against? Motion is carried. Any disclosures of conflict of interest, divulgation de conflit d'intérêt? Being none, we'll go to the minutes of the May 9th and special June 13th regular council and June 22nd. If someone would move those minutes.
Mr. Mayor, I would move for both of those minutes to be accepted.
The three sets of minutes moved by Deputy Mayor Cyr. Do we have a seconder, un secondeur?
Je vais seconder.
Secondé par la conseillère Parent. On the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Against, motion is carried. Before proceeding to the meeting this evening, the city would like to thank and recognize an individual which has served the city very well in regards to insurance. And in June, after several years as the insurance broker representative for the city, Linda Letarte announced that she was leaving. It is an honor to recognize her for her dedication and excellent customer service to the city of Campton throughout these years. The foundation of her success was her ability to attract and retain people who care deeply about doing a good job for our city and taxpayers. It is said that good customer service is vital for businesses to succeed. Tonight, Campton City Council would like to congratulate and acknowledge the tremendous success you've achieved, to thank you for your excellent service, and at the same time to wish you luck with your future endeavors. So if you want to come forward, I'll just have a little gift here to present to you.
I can just say it's been an honor, and I appreciate all the trust and loyalty that you've given me over the years. It truly has been an honor to serve you. You're phenomenal, such a leader, so proactive on insurance, as a side on insurance broker, I'm sure. Thank you very much to all of you.
I ain't been to bed. I'm the mayor. No.
No, that wasn't even done right. That wasn't even done right. There.
I'm really touched by this. I really am. I don't get emotional. It's been an honor and a pleasure. I'm glad
Merci.
Thank
you. Merci, Linda. Bye.
Okay, now time to go to zoning matters. Question de zonage, 5 correspondence, reading of communications. We have a building report, building inspector's report, if someone would read that. Si quelqu'un veut lire l'information.
Certainement, Monsieur le maire. Si je peux l'ouvrir. Veuillez trouver ici inclus le rapport de construction ainsi qu'un résumé pour le permis de construction émis pour le mois de juin 2022. 19 permis ont été donnés de construction d'une valeur estimative de 381 900. Le premier était pour résidence unifamiliale, 2 pour résidence addition à une résidence unifamiliale, 4 pour une rénovation résidence unifamiliale, 2 pour une démolition de résidence unifamiliale, 1 pour rénovation résidence bifamiliale, 1 émis pour rénovation d'un usage commercial, 1 pour usage institutionnel, 1 pour démolition d'usage institutionnel, 1 émis pour construction de garage, 3 pour une construction de clôture, 1 pour une installation d'une piscine et 1 pour localiser une clôture.
Do we have a seconder, un secondeur?
Second.
Seconded by Deputy Mayor Cyr, secondé par la maire adjointe. On the question, sur la question, All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Against, motion carried. Ratification of Treasurer's Report. I do believe it's not there, right?
We don't have one.
We don't have a report. We'll go to presentation and consideration of reports of standing and special committees. La présentation d'études des rapports des comités permanents et spéciaux. The first one being Community Planning and Housing, Comité d'urbanisme et de la planification. Someone wants to read that first one?
I can do that for you, Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead, Councillor.
Community and Planning and Housing Committee, Mayor Como, as chairperson of the Community Planning and Housing Committee. He would like to inform you that the committee met once during the month of June of 22 to discuss the following items. June 6, 22, new business, rezoning request for 101 Vanier Street, and information and correspondence, Restigouche Regional Service Commission variances. Pour le comité des finances et de l'administration, le maire Como, en tant que président du comité des finances et de l'administration, il désire vous informer que le comité s'est rencontré 4 fois durant le mois de juin 22 pour traiter des sujets suivants. Le 6 juin, affaires inachevées, camions à nacelle, programme d'asphaltage, affaires nouvelles, résultats d'appel d'offres, projet d'amélioration des stationnements de pompage des eaux usées numéro 2, Stop and Shop événement de levée de fonds et achat, Classic Fountain System, lumière à la fontaine à la place du saumon, entreprise Saunier, le sable, bac de recyclage Combine. Information, correspondance, lettre du ministre de Sécurité publique, de la Protection civile, sommet du Festival de vélo de montagne de l'Atlantique, demande de dons, toilette portative, terrain de soccer, Galion des Appalaches, parc canin, session à huis clos d'informations qui pourraient occasionner des gains et des pertes financières pour une personne ou une municipalité et qui pourraient compromettre les négociations en vue d'aboutir à une conclusion d'un accord ou d'un contrat, d'informations relatives au travail, à l'emploi, y compris la convention collective. On June 20th, 22, unfinished business, 2022 paving and sidewalk program, capital projects from reserve, walkway at the RCMP, mobile storage for RCMP, city garbage upgrades, garage, the amphitheater, Campbellton, the Prince William infrastructure upgrades, Lily Lake Road paving, skateboard park fence, memorial bench update. New business 2021 annual report, Salmon Festival Parade street closure requests, Canada Day festivities, street closure requests, purchase kiosk roofs. Information correspondence, thank you letter, First United Church, request for donation, Restigouche Automobile Dealers Association annual charity golf tournament, and closed meeting of council, information that could cause financial loss or gain to a person or the municipality or could jeopardize negotiations leading to an agreement or a contract, legal matters, labor and employment matters, including collective agreement. Le 27 juin 2022, affaires inachevées, Vélé-Rostigouche, présentation, mise à jour, piste cyclable sur le boulevard de Saumon à travers de piétons, banc commémoratif Bobby Steves. Affaires nouvelles, 3 avenue Malcolm, entrée de cour. Session à huis clos de renseignements personnels, d'informations qui pourraient occasionner des gains ou des pertes financières pour une personne ou municipalité ou qui pourraient compromettre des négociations en vue d'aboutir à une conclusion d'un accord ou d'un contrat. D'informations relatives au travail et à l'emploi, y compris la convention collective. June 30th was a closed meeting of council. Information that could cause financial loss or gain to a person or municipality, or could jeopardize negotiations leading to an agreement or a contract, and legal matters.
Do we have a seconder or secondeur?
Second.
Seconded by Councillor Loga. On the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Against, motion is carried. Next is appointments to committees being none. We have 3 motions this evening, 3 résolutions. We'll start with Councillor Savoie, les entreprises Rénal-Lausier.
Oui, Monsieur le maire, qu'il soit résolu par le conseil de la ville de Campbellton d'octroyer la réparation de 3 toitures de kiosques à les entreprises Rénal-Lausier au montant de 9 014,70 $, plus les taxes applicables. Autres soumissionnaires utilisent le même entrepreneur en raison de contraintes de temps.
Do we have a seconder or secondeur?
Second.
Seconded by Deputy Mayor Cyr. On the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Against, motion is carried. Next resolution is in regards to expert fence, skateboard park. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Lumiere.
Sorry, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Be it resolved by the Council of the City of Campbellton toward the supply and installation of a chain link fence at the skateboard park to Expert Fence Company Limited in the amount of $5,745 plus applicable taxes.
Seconded by Councilor Loga. On the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Against, motion is carried. We'll go to Councilor Loga for the next one, to give you a break, since you have a long thing coming up, Melanie. Do you have that in front of you, 7 Maple?
7 Maple.
It's,
Yeah, I think so.
it's the next,
Yeah, I got it. Resolution. Whereas the Restigouche Regional Service Commission issued a notice on November 9, 2020 of non-conforming use of property. Okay, we good?
yeah, keep going.
Metal storage containers and tractor trailers stored on property to the owner, Joey Paul Gillette of 7 Maple Street, requiring that the owner cease the use immediately and that measures be taken to return the land to its conditions of immediately prior to the undertaking of the developments before November 30th, 2020. And whereas, as a result of the non-compliance, the Restigouche Regional Service Commission has exhausted their powers delegated to them by council under the authority of Section 134 of the Community Planning Act. And whereas the council members of the City of Hamilton made the decision to proceed with the legal action during a Finance and Administration Committee meeting that took place on June 20th, 2022. Be resolved by the City of Hamilton that the Cabinet Judicature Steve McNair Law Office proceed with the legal actions against Joey Paul Gillette, owner of 7 Maple Street.
We have
Be
a,
it further resolved that the mayor and city clerk be authorized to sign all related documents.
do we have a seconder, secondaire? Seconded by Councilor Babcock. On the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, motion is 1 nay. So there's 2 nays.
Your worship, they're voting against their own bylaw.
So there's 2 nays, Councilor Degg and Councilor Savoie. Bylaw number W33, maybe we can ask Conseiller Degg to read that, since we have Councilor Babcock reading something large after.
Certainement, Monsieur le maire. Laisse-moi juste l'agrandir. OK. Bylaw number W33, a bylaw to amend bylaw number W3, a bylaw to regulate the collection and disposal of garbage and other materials in the city of Campbellton. I move that leave now be given to introduce first and second readings of bylaw W3-3, a bylaw to amend bylaw W3, a bylaw to regulate the collection and disposal of garbage and other materials in the city of Campbellton. Arrêté numéro W3-3. Un arrêté modifiant l'arrêté numéro W3, arrêté réglementant la collecte et l'élimination des ordures ménagères et autres matières dans la cité of Campbellton. Je propose que soit présentée la première et deuxième lecture par titre de l'arrêté numéro W3-3, un arrêté modifiant l'arrêté W3, arrêté réglementant la collecte et l'élimination des ordures ménagères et autres matières dans la City of Campbellton.
Do we have a seconder, un secondaire?
Je vais seconder.
Secondé par la conseillère Mélanie Parent. On the question, sur la question.
Juste sur la question, peut-être si soit la graphière ou l'administrateur pourrait donner juste des détails de quel ça consiste, le changement.
Oui, merci, Monsieur le conseiller. Habituellement, on a le draft de l'ébauche de l'arrêté d'attacher. Par contre, on est un peu serré dans le temps. Fait que c'est les mêmes choses qu'on avait discutées, là. Vous aviez déjà effectué un amendement au niveau
Bac noir.
au niveau des appartements, des buildings, on ne faisait plus la collecte là, après au-dessus de 6 unités. Les changements qui s'en viennent, qui vont être reliés aussi à l'arrêté municipal pour le 6 septembre, sont la collecte alternative, sauf pour les mois de juin, juillet, août. Fait qu'à partir du mois de septembre, on va faire la collecte de vidange d'ordures ménagères une fois par semaine, les ordures pour le recyclage la semaine suivante. Il y a aussi l'imposition d'un bac unique noir, comme M. le maire disait, puis d'un bac de recyclage bleu qui va être en force. Et ça, c'est les changements majeurs qui s'en viennent. Après ça, bien, c'est le reste du langage, un petit peu de l'arrêté qui va être modernisé. Fait que j'espère avoir l'ébauche bientôt pour circuler avant la lecture en plein, là, que vous puissiez l'étudier en comité de finances.
Merci, thank you. On the question, sur la question, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Against? Motion is carried. We now go to...
First,
oh, no.
bylaw number
It was an exception, sorry.
W3, a bylaw to amend bylaw number W3, a bylaw to regulate the collection and disposal of garbage and other materials in the city of Hamilton. I move that this constitutes first reading by title of bylaw W3-3, a bylaw to amend bylaw W3, a bylaw to regulate the collection and disposal of garbage and other materials in the city of Hamilton.
We have a
Première
seconder?
lecture,
Oh,
arrêté numéro W33, un arrêté modifiant l'arrêté numéro W3, arrêté réglementant la collecte et l'élimination des ordures ménagères et autres matières dans la City of Hamilton. Je propose que cette lecture constitue la première par titre de l'arrêté W33, un arrêté modifiant l'arrêté 3, W3, arrêté réglementant la collecte et l'élimination des ordures ménagères et autres matières dans la City of Hamilton.
do we have a seconder, un secondeur?
Je vais seconder encore.
Secondé par la conseillère Mélanie Parent. On the question, sur la question, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Against? Motion is carried. Second,
Deuxième, arrêté numéro W33, un arrêté modifiant l'arrêté W3, arrêté réglementant la collecte et l'élimination des ordures ménagères et autres matières dans la City of Hamilton. Je propose que cette lecture constitue la deuxième partie de l'arrêté W33, un arrêté modifiant l'arrêté W3, arrêté réglementant la collecte et l'élimination des ordures ménagères et autres matières dans la City of Hamilton, le 11 juillet 2022. Second reading, bylaw number W3-3, a bylaw to amend bylaw W3, a bylaw to regulate the collection and disposal of garbage and other materials in the city of Hamilton. I move that this constitutes second reading by title of bylaw number W33, a bylaw to amend bylaw number W3, a bylaw to regulate the collection of disposals of garbage and other materials in the city of Hamilton, July 11, 2022.
seconded by Councillor Loga. On the question, sur la question, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Against? Motion is carried. Next is along a bylaw, la bylaw concernant notre code of conduct, notre code de conduite. So I don't know if members of the media you want to stay, but on va le faire dans les deux langues. So si vous avez des questions, peut-être demain ou quelque chose. So it's going to be a long reading, ça va être une longue lecture. So and we're going to start with Councillor Mélanie. So,
Bylaw number
après,
813,
demain.
a bylaw establishing a code of conduct for members of council of the city of Hamilton. I move that leave now be given to introduce the reading in full and third by the title of bylaw.
Oh, micro.
Je recommence.
Non, écoute.
I move that leave now be given to introduce the reading in full and third by title of bylaw number 813, a bylaw establishing a code of conduct for members of council of the city of Hamilton. Arrêté établissant un code de conduite pour les membres du conseil municipal de la City of Hamilton. Je propose que soit présentée la lecture dans son intégralité et troisième par titre de l'arrêté numéro A13, un arrêté établissant un code de conduite pour les membres du conseil municipal de la City of Hamilton.
Do we have a seconder, un secondaire? Councillor Loga? Seconded by Councillor Loga. On the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? OK. Continuez, conseillère Parent.
Be it resolved that bylaw number 813 be read in its entirety. Whereas a local government is authorized and required to enact a bylaw establishing a code of conduct for members of council prescribed by regulation. And whereas New Brunswick Regulation 2018-64 under the Local Governance Act prescribed that the following matters be included in a code of conduct. A, the value to which members of council are expected to adhere. B, the behavior by the members of council towards other members of council, officers, employees, and residents of the local government, including provisions respecting bullying, discrimination, and harassment by members of council. C, the use of local government property, resource, and services by members of council. And D, the use of communication tool and social media by members of council. And whereas it is recognized that responsible conduct is essential to providing good governance for the city of Campbellton as a local government. And whereas the establishment of a code of conduct for members of council is consistent with the principle of transparent and accountable government. And whereas the adoption of a code of conduct establishes a common understanding and shared expectation for how members of council should conduct themselves individually while carrying out their responsibilities as a collective decision-making body. Now therefore be it enacted by the Council of the City of Campbellton and pursuant to the authority vested in it by the Local Governance Act, SNB 2017, C-18, as amended, adopts rules in the form of a code of conduct by bylaw for elected officials as follows. 1. Short title. 1.1. This bylaw may be cited as the code of conduct bylaw. 2. Definitions. 2.0. The following definition apply in this bylaw. Accountability means an obligation and willingness to accept responsibility or to account for one's action. Responsabilité. Act means the Local Governance Act, SNB 2017, C-18 as amended, and accompanying regulations as amended. Loi. Administration means the management and operations of the local government comprised of various departments, divisions, and employees. Administration. Chief Administrative Officer means the individual appointed by the City Council by City Council resolution of their delegates, Directeur Général. Confidential information means and includes all information in the possession of, received, and in confidence by the local government, and that the local government is prohibited from disclosing pursuant to legislation, court order, or by contract, or is required to refuse to disclose pursuant to the RTIPPA, or any other legislation in any other information that pertains to the business of the local government and is generally considered to be of a confidential nature, including but not limited to the information concerning the security of local government property. 2. A proposed or pending acquisition of disposition of land or other property. 3. A tender that has or will be issued but has not been awarded. 4. Contract negotiations. 5. Employment and labor relations. 6. Draft documents and legal instruments, including reports, policies, bylaws, and resolutions that have not been the subject matter of deliberations in a council meeting open to the public. And 7. Law enforcement matters. 8. Litigation of potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals, and 9. Legal advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, information confidentielle. Council means the mayor and councilors of the local government, conseil. Employees mean all employees of the local government, unionized or not unionized, full-time, part-time, contract, or seasonal employee. Integrity means being honest and demonstrating a strong ethical principle. It also involves being free from undue influence and not acting or appearing to act in a way to gain financial or other benefit for themselves, family, friends, or business interests. Acting with integrity also means disclosing actual or potential conflict of interest relating to the public duties and to follow the letter of spirit of follow the letter and spirit of policies and procedures, and to exercise all conferred powers strictly for the purpose for which the powers have been conferred. Intégrité. Leadership, collaborations, and public interest means the ability to lead, listen to, and positively influence others. It also means coming together to create or meet a common goal through collective effort and serving their constituent by acting in the best interest of the local government, leadership, collaboration et intérêt public. Local government means the City of Campbellton, gouvernement local. Member means member of council and includes a mayor, deputy mayor, and councillors of the local government, membres. Respects mean having due regards for others' perspectives, wishes, and rights while conducting the business of the local government with decorum and with consideration of the city's diversity. It also means not using derogatory language towards others, respecting the rights of other people, treating people with courtesy, and recognize the different roles others play in local government decision-making. Members would demonstrate awareness of their own conduct and consider how their words and actions may be perceived as offensive or demeaning. Respect. RTI-PPA means the Right to Information and Protection of Privacy Act, SNB 2009, CR 10.6, as amended by accompanying regulation as amended, LDIPVP. Social media means freely accessible, third-party hosted, interactive internet technologies used to produce, post, and interact through text, image, videos, and audio to inform, share, promote, collaborate, or network and include but are not limited to Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, and LinkedIn, médias sociaux. Transparency means being as open as possible about decisions and actions. Transparence. Undue influence means behavior that is characterized by one person taking advantage of a position of power over another person or influence by which a person is induced to act otherwise than by their own free will. Influence indue. Numéro 3, purpose. 3.1, the purpose of this bylaw is to establish standards of the ethical conduct of members relating to their role and duties as representative of the local government and a procedure for the investigation and enforcement of those standards. 4, framework and interpretation. 4.1, this bylaw provides a framework to guide ethical conduct in ways that uphold the integrity of the local government and the high standards of professional conduct the public expects of its local government elected representatives. 4.2, as the conduct members is also governed by the other legislation by bylaw is intended to operate with and supplement the common law, existing municipal, provincial, and federal legislation as amended, including but not limited to the Local Governance Act, SNB 2017 C18. 2, the Right to Information and Privacy, Protection of Privacy Act, SNB 2009 C.R 10.6. 3, the Municipal Election Act, SNB 1979 CM 21.0. 4, the New Brunswick Human Rights Act, RSNB 2011 C171. Number 5, the Occupational Health and Safety Act, SNB 1983 C 0.0.2. 6, the Criminal Code of Canada, RSC 1985 C-46. Number 7, local government bylaws. And number 8, any and all other municipal, provincial, and federal laws that may govern the conduct of members. Where there is any conflict between this bylaw and the requirements of any federal or provincial law, such federal or provincial laws shall take precedence. 4.3, this bylaw also operates with and is intended to supplement any existing and future City of Campbellton policies and operating procedures that may, from time to time, apply to members. Number 5, value and principle of members. Value 5.1, members shall perform their functions in office with integrity, respect, accountability, leadership, collaboration, public interest, and transparency to the best of their knowledge and ability. 1, integrity. Conduct under this value and principle uphold the public interest is truthful, trustworthy, and honorable. 2, respect. Conduct under this value and principle is demonstrated when a member fosters an environment of trust by demonstrating due regards for the perspective, wishes, and rights of others, and an understanding of the role of the local government. 3, accountability. Conduct under this value and principle is demonstrated when council or members individually and collectively accept responsibility for their action and decisions. 4, leadership, collaboration, and public interest. Conduct under the value and principle is demonstrated when council or a member encourages individual to work together in pursuit of collective objectives by leading, listening to, and positively influencing others. Members as community leaders must build and inspire the public's trust and confidence in local government in all their dealings. Number 5, transparency. Conduct under this value and principle is demonstrated when council communicates appropriate information openly to the public about decision-making process and issues being considered, encourages appropriate public participation, communicates clearly, allowing for public scrutiny, and providing appropriate means for feedback. Principles 5.2. Members are keepers of the public trust and shall uphold the highest standard of ethical behavior. 5.3. Members have a duty to make decisions based on the best interest of the City of Campbellton. 5.4. Members are responsible for their decisions. This includes acts of commissions and acts of omissions. The decision-making processes of members must be transparent. 5.5, members shall demonstrate and promote the principle of this bylaw through their decisions, actions, and behavior. The behavior of members must build and inspire the public's trust and confidence in the local government. Number 6, council responsibilities. 6.1, the city clerk shall provide every member with a certified copy of this bylaw, and every member with a will sign a statement of commitment as attached as Schedule A to this bylaw within 7 calendar days of this bylaw coming into force, and also within 7 calendar days of taking the oath of office pursuant to the Act. 6.2, council shall review this bylaw as required and make any amendments considered appropriate to ensure that it remains current and continues to accurately reflect the standards of ethical conduct expected of members. Number 7, behavior of members of council. Representing the local government. 7.1, members shall 1, act honestly and in good faith, serve the welfare and best interest of the local government without regards to personal interest. Number 2, perform their functions and duties in a conscientious and diligent manner with integrity and accountability and transparency. Conduct themselves in a professional manner with dignity. Number 4, make every effort to participate in the meeting of council, committees, and council and other bodies to which they are appointed by council. Number 5, respect and comply with the law and avoid conduct that in the eyes of a reasonable person could be viewed as undermining or as a potential to undermine public confidence in the governance or the local government. Number 6, not in their public office for personal finance benefit. Number 7, not disguise or mislead as to their identity or social as an elected representative of the local government. Number 8, at all time conduct themselves with decorum and act in accordance with the procedural bylaw as amended. And 9, serve and be seen to serve the local government community in a conscientious and diligent manner, and shall approach decision-making with an open mind. Respecting the decision-making process. 7.2. Council may only act in accordance with provincial laws and municipal bylaws. No member shall, unless authorized by council, attempt to bind the local government or give directions to employees, agent contractors, consultants, or other service providers or prospective vendors or local government. Council makes a decision as a whole, not as individual members. 7.3. Members shall accurately communicate the decision of council, even if they disagree with the decision. 7.4. Members shall conduct and convey council business in an open and transparent manner, other than for those matters which by law are authorized to be kept confidential, allowing the public to view the process and rationale which was used to reach decision and for taking certain actions. 7.5. Members shall exercise their authority to make decisions in a manner that demonstrates fairness, respect for individual, demonstrate an opinion and intention to work together for the common good and in the public interest. Members will demonstrate this in the following ways. 1. Respecting differing opinions and the rights of others to express those opinions. Number 2. Refraining from making disparaging comments about other members' council's decision-making process or a decision of council, and refraining from speculating or reflecting upon the motives of other members in respect of their actions and decision as a member. Adhere to policies, procedures, and bylaws. 7.6. Members shall comply with the legislation adopted by the Parliament of Canada and the legislature of the province of New Brunswick, and all bylaws, policies, and procedures of the local government. 7.7. Members shall respect the local government as an institution and shall encourage public respect for the bylaws, policies, and procedures of the local government. A member must not encourage disobedience of any bylaw, policy, or procedure for the local government in responding to a member of the public, as this undermines public confidence in the local government and in of the rule of law. Respectful interaction with fellow members, employees, and the public. 7.8. Members shall establish a model and model a respectful workplace where they will not speak disrespectfully about the local government, other members of employees. While members may debate issues and promote ideas, they must always maintain decorum. 7.9. Members shall treat one another, employees and members of the public, with civility, dignity, and respect. 7.10. No member shall use indecent, abusive, or insulting words or expressions toward another member, employee, or a member of the public. 7.11. Members shall promote good governance and take steps to ensure that their behavior and work environment is free from abuse, harassment, discrimination, bullying, intimidation, offensive, and derogatory language. 7.12. No member shall refuse to speak with or refuse to interact with anyone based on the ground listed under the Human Rights Act. 7.13. Members shall direct inquiries of staff to the Chief Administrative Officer or the appropriate senior management employee as directed by the Chief Administrative Officer. 7.14. Members shall respect employees who may present information and provide advice that may not align with their views. Members shall also respect the roles of employees to advise based on political neutrality, objectivity, and without undue influence from any individual member. All members shall show respect for the professional capacity of the employees of the local government. 7.15. Employees have a duty and obligations to act impartially and in accordance with prescribed standard of conducts and procedures of the local government. Similar employees with professional qualification have an additional duty and obligation to act in accordance with the standard of conduct prescribed for their profession. Members shall refrain from any conduct which may deter, interfere, or unduly influence employee in the performance of such duties and obligation. 7.16, members shall not involve themselves in matters of administration which fall within the jurisdiction of the chief administrative officer. Number 2, use or attempt to use their authority to influence the purpose of intimidating, threatening, coercing, commanding, or influencing any employee with the intent of interfering with their duties. Number 3, maliciously or falsely injure the professional or ethical reputation of the prospect of or practice of employees. Number 4, cause persistent, excessive nitpicking, unjustified criticism, and constant scrutiny. Number 5, exclude or ignore an employee, refuse to acknowledge their contribution, undermine their effort in advancing promotion or transfers. Or, and number 6, compel employees to engage in partisan political activity or subject employees to threat, discrimination, and abuse, intimidation, bullying, or harassment for refusing to engage in such activities. 7.17, members shall not direct or indirectly request, induce, encourage, or aid employees to do something which is, if done by members, would be a breach of this bylaw. 7.18, members shall not require employees to undertake public or private work on behalf of the member. Confidential information. 7.19, members shall only be entitled to have access to confidential information in the possession of the local government that is relevant to matters before council or that is relevant to their role as a member. Otherwise, members have the same access rights to information as any member of the public. 7.20, members shall not directly or indirectly disclose, release, publish, or divulge to any member of the public any confidential information in either written or oral form, including personal information and as defined under the RTI PPA, or any aspect of deliberations of council obtained as a member. 7.21, members shall keep confidential all matters discussed in a meeting of council where the public has been excluded pursuant to the Act. 7.22, members shall not use confidential information, including any knowledge held as a result of their position as a member that is not in the public domain, including emails or correspondence from other members or third parties for personal or private gain, or for the gain of any other person or corporation. 7.23, members may also become privy to confidential information received outside of an in-camera or closed meeting. Members shall not directly or indirectly disclose, release, or publish by any means, including social media, to any member of the public, including the media, any confidential information acquired by virtue of their office, unless the disclosure is required by law or authorized by council. 7.24, the obligation identified under section 7.20-7.23 constitutes obligation that continue to apply to members following their service when they are no longer members. Conflict of interest, 7.25. Member has a statutory duty to comply with the requirements of the conflict of interest provision set out in the Act. 7.26, members shall be free from undue influence and shall not act to or appear to act in order to gain financial or other benefits for themselves, friends, or family associates. 7.27, members shall not place themselves in a position of obligation to any person or corporation which might reasonably benefit from special consideration or may seek preferential treatment. 7.28, each member has the individual responsibility to seek independent legal advice at the member's sole cost and expense with respect to any situation that may result in a conflict of interest. Improper use of influence, 7.29. No member shall use the influence of their office for any purpose other than for the exercise of their official duties. Members attempting to use their office for private gain or for the gain of another person or organization that they are associated with, which is not permitted. 7.30, when a local government matter is before an adjudicative body or court, members shall not contact or attempt to influence any tribunal members, adverse parties, or witness. 7.31, no member shall attempt to influence the chief administrative officer in matters that relates to administration. 7.32, under the direction of the chief administrative officer, the administration serves council as a whole. No individual member has executive authority over the administration. All members shall at all times conduct themselves in a manner that reflects the separation of roles and responsibilities between council and administration, and shall, 1, refrain from giving directions to any employee or contracted resource except through the chief administrative officer. 2, not use or attempt to use their office for the purpose of intimidating, influencing, threatening, coercing, or directing an employee in a matter contrary to their duties, or for the member's own personal benefit. And 3, not advocate for the promotion, sanction, or termination of any employee. 7.33, when a member's private life or employment intersects with employees, members should not expect that their role as a member will affect or influence the services that they would receive as a private citizen. 7.34, members should avoid any situation in which a friendship, social relationship, or social interaction with an employee may be seen to create undue influence, gain access to information, or undermine the authority of the chief administrative officer. 7.35, no member shall attempt to influence any employee to hire or promote a person closely connected to the member. 7.36, no member shall attempt to use a family relationship for their personal benefits or gain. Gift and benefits, 7.37, in accordance with the Act, members shall not, 1, accept any fees, gifts, gratuities, or other benefits that could reasonably be seen to influence any decision made by him or her in the carrying out of his or her function as a member, or 2, for his or her personal gain or for the personal gain of a family associate, make use of his or her position or of any information that is obtained in his or her position and is not available to the public. Members, 7.38, members may accept compensation or benefits authorized by council or in accordance with policies or procedures for their local government. 2, political contributions that are accepted in accordance with applicable law. 3, reward, gifts, or benefit not connected with the performance or duties of office. 4, service provided without compensation by person volunteering their time. 5, food, lodging, transportation, and entertainment provided by other level of government or by other local government boards and commissions. 6, reasonable quantities of food and beverage consumed at banquets, reception ceremonies, and similar events. 7, token gifts such as souvenir and commemorative gifts that are received in recognition of service for attending an event. And 8, gifts received as an incident of protocol or social obligation that normally and reasonably accompany the responsibility of the office. 7.39, gifts received by the member on behalf of the local government as a matter of official protocol that have significant or historical value for the local government shall be delivered to the city clerk's office. 7.40, where a member of or a family associate, which includes a spouse or a common law partner, child, parent, or sibling, as defined under the Act, receives a gift inconsistent with this bylaw, or where it was not possible to decline the unauthorized gift, hospitality, or other benefit, the member of their family associate should refuse it or, at the earliest opportunity, return it to the donor without making any personal use of it or dispose of it for charitable purposes. 7.41, in accordance with section 7.38 and the principle of transparency, members shall disclose annually to the city clerk any gifts and benefits that exceeds $99. 7.42, no members shall accept the use of property or facilities such as vehicle, office, or vacation property at less than fair market value. Orientation and training attendance. 7.43, every member must attend orientation training sessions if offered by a local government within 90 days after the members make the oath of office, unless doing so is not practically possible. 7.44, unless excused by council, every members must attend workshop and any other training session organized by the direction of the council for the benefit of the members throughout the council terms, unless doing so is not practically possible. Number 8, use of local government and property resources and services. 8.1, no member shall use or permit the use of any local government property such as but not limited to land, facilities, equipment, supplies, resources including but not limited to employees, computers, information technology networks, websites, or services other than for carrying out the business of the local government or in accordance with the procedure of practices of the local government. 8.2, no member shall obtain any personal financial gain or advantage from the use of local government property, resources, or services. 8.3, members shall comply with all information security procedures applicable to employees and shall not take any actions that may compromise the integrity or security of the local government's information systems. Expenditures. 8.4, members are steward of public resources and shall avoid waste, abuse, and extravagance in the use of public resources. 8.5, members shall be transparent and accountable with respect to all expenditures and shall comply with the local government by law, policies, and procedures regarding claims for remuneration and expenses. Election activities. 8.6, no member shall use any supplies, services, employees, local government logo, or other local government resources for any election campaign or campaign-related activity. 8.7, members may use a local government facility or access equipment in the same manner as any other candidate for the purpose of an election campaign. 9, use of communication tools and social media. Communication. 9.1, a member must not speak on behalf of council unless authorized to do so. 9.2, unless council directs otherwise, the mayor is council's official spokesperson, and in the absence of the mayor, the deputy mayor. Members shall direct media inquiries regarding the official council position on an issue to council's official spokesperson. 9.3, a member who is authorized to act as council's official spokesperson must ensure that their comment accurately reflects the official position and will of the council as a whole, even if the member personally disagrees with the council's position. 9.4, members shall identify when views expressed are theirs alone and not official communication of the local government when engaging in social media activities. 9.5, no member shall make a statement when they know the statement is false. 9.6, no member shall make a statement with the intent to mislead council or members of the public. Any statement made by a member is not consistent with the official position of council should be prefaced as their personal opinion. Use of communication tools and social media. 9.7, electronic communication devices which include but are not limited to tablets, smartphones, laptops, desktops, computers, may be used by members of the local government. Members should have no expectation of privacy in the use of these devices and all communications sent or received related to local government business are subject to RTIPPA. Members shall use these devices in a responsible and respectful manner. 9.8, members shall use their social media in a professional, courteous, respectful manner. 9.9, members shall not use communication tools, device, or social media to bully or encourage bullying of other members, employees, or the general public. 9.10, members shall not knowingly publish information using social media that is untrue, derogatory, defamatory, or misleading in any way. Number 10, government relationships. 10.1, in the spirit of collaboration and as authorized by the mayor, members shall work constructively with other levels of government and organization to achieve the goal of the local government. 11, bylaw compliance. 11.1, members shall adhere to the provisions of this bylaw. 11.2, this bylaw is intended to be self-enforcing. It establishes standards of conduct for members. Members shall be thoroughly familiar with it, and adhere to the bylaw, therefore enhancing public confidence in the local government by acting with integrity, respect, accountability, leadership, collaboration, public interest, and transparency. 11.3, members shall not undertake any act of reprisal or threaten reprisal against a complainant, employees, or any other person for providing relevant information in relation to a possible violation of this bylaw. 11.4, members shall not obstruct any person that carries out the objective of or requirements of this bylaw. Informal complaint process. Members shall endeavor to resolve interpersonal disputes with other members using best efforts in good faith. 11.6, any person who has identified or witnessed behavior or activity by a member that the person reasonably believes in good faith is in contravention of this bylaw may access the prohibited conduct by 1, advising the member that the conduct violates this bylaw and encouraging the member to stop, or 2, requesting that the mayor facilitate discussions between the party in an attempt to resolve the issue. This in the event that the mayor is a subject of or is implicated in the complaint, the person may request the assistance of the deputy mayor. 11.7, if a person is not satisfied with the response or resolution received through the informal process, they may file a formal complaint as outlined below. Formal complaint process. 11.8, any person who has identified or witnessed behavior or activity by a member that the person reasonably believes in good faith is in contraventions of this bylaw may file a formal complaint by the city clerk in accordance to the following procedure. 1, all formal complaints must, A, be made using the local government complaints forms, see Schedule B, and shall be dated and signed by the complainant. B, name the member to whom the complaint relates. C, identify sections of the bylaw that believes is being breached. D, provide the date of the alleged breach. E, provide the fact and an explanation as to why there may be a contravention by the bylaw. F, identifying the names of any witness to the alleged contravention. G, provide any evidence of the material in support of the alleged contravention. And H, acknowledge who may receive the complaint form and supporting documentation. 11.9, the city clerk shall acknowledge receipt of the formal complaints and provide the mayor and deputy mayor with the formal complaint process for processing. 11.10, notwithstanding any other provision of this bylaw, any formal complaints received by the city clerk 90 days before the date of municipal election shall not be referred to the mayor or deputy mayor for an initial assessment until after the election has occurred. Initial assessment. 11.11. The mayor and deputy mayor shall complete an initial assessment by reviewing any complaints received about a member and determine whether the conduct described in the complaint form is within their authority or review, and whether the information provided in the complaint form provides reasonable grounds for believing that the violation of this bylaw occurred. 11.12, the mayor or deputy mayor may reject a complaint received, 1, more than 12 months after the date of the reported alleged breach, or 2, more than 12 months after the complainant became aware of the alleged breach. 11.13, the mayor or deputy mayor may request further information from the complainant before determining whether or not there are reasonable grounds for believing that the violation of this bylaw may have occurred. 11.14, the mayor or deputy mayor is of the opinion of 1, the conduct is not within their authority to investigate. 2, the complaint is frivolous, vexatious, or not made in good faith. 3, the conduct occurred between the date that the municipal election is called and the election day and not related to the legislated duties of a member. 4, the complaint is anonymous. Or 5, there are reasonable grounds for believing that there is a violation of the bylaw as occurred. The mayor and deputy mayor will advise a complainant in writing, setting out reasons for the decision not to proceed with an investigation and close the file. 11.15, if the complainant disagree with the conclusion that the mayor and deputy mayor under section 11.14, they may file an appeal with the city clerk, who will place the matter on a closed meeting of council for consideration. 11.16, if the mayor or deputy mayor decides a complaint should be investigated, or if council under S 11.15 determines the complaint should be investigated, the city clerk, or on behalf of the council, shall retain an external investigator to conduct an investigation. 11.17, the parties shall participate in good faith in the investigation. 11.18, the external investigator shall, 1, consider the alleged contravention of this bylaw. 2, ensure the party are given an opportunity to be heard. 3, allow the member at least 10 days to submit a written response of the complaint of the consideration of the external investigator. 4, explore if the complaint can be resolved between the parties without making any recommendation of a sanction. 5, if the complaint is resolved to the satisfaction of the parties pursuant to 11.18, 4, the external investigator shall advise the city clerk in writing within 10 days. 6, provide a written confidential report of the findings of the investigation, including whether there has been a breach of this bylaw, and a recommendation has to be as to appropriate sanction of the violations no later than 90 days after the filing of the complaint. 7, state in the report that there is a recommendation that no sanctions be imposed if they determine that a violation of this bylaw occurred, but that the member took all reasonable steps to prevent it, or or that it was trivial, or that it was committed through an inadvertence, or a genuine error of judgment. 8, file the written confidential report with the city clerk. 9, provide a copy of the written confidential report to the complainant of the member. And 10, present a confidential report to council. 11.19, the 90-day timeline to complete an investigation may be extended by the external investigator depending on the nature of complexity and of the investigation. Reasonable notice of the extension shall be provided by the external investigator to the city clerk, to complainant, and the member. 11.20, the city clerk shall place the matter of a closed meeting of council and provide a copy of the confidential report from the external investigator to the parties. 11.21, if an external investigator has determined that a member has been breached a position of this bylaw, the sanction available to the council include but are not limited to: 1, letter of reprimand addressed to the member; 2, a sincere verbal or written apology to the member, to the impacted person; 3, suspended or removal of the member from a committee of council and bodies of which council has a right to appoint members; 4, removal of the member as chair or vice chair of a committee or council; 5, require the member attend training or counseling; 6, reduction of or suspension of remuneration paid to the member for a period of up to 90 days. 7, restrictions or contact with employees. 8, restrictions on travel and representation on behalf of council. 9, restrictions on access to local government facilities, properties, equipment, supplies, or services. 10, restrictions on how documents are provided to the member. 11, require the return of local government property and the reimbursement of its value. And 12, the offenses and penalties provided under the Act with respect to violations of the disclosure of conflict of interest provisions of the Act. 11.22, council, while acting in committee, shall consider the confidential report from the external investigator. Their recommendation with respect to whether a sanction should be imposed to resolve the matter shall be forwarded to the city council for a decision. 11.23, a member who is the subject of an investigation shall be afforded procedural fairness, including the opportunity to respond to the allegation before council makes a decision or imposes a sanction. 11.24, a member who is the subject of an investigation is entitled to be represented by a spokesperson or legal counsel at a member's sole cost and expenses. 11.25, the complaint process shall not apply retroactively to any alleged conduct violation of member prior to the date of which the bylaw was formally adopted by council. Schedule A, statement of commitment to the code of conduct. Annexe A, déclaration d'engagement à l'égard du code de conduite. Schedule B, code of conduct, statement of complaint. Annexe B, code de conduite, déclaration de plainte.
Mr. Mayor, je pense que c'est fini, hein?
Non.
Il y a encore le
I
third by
move,
title.
I move.
Non,
Yeah.
c'est ça.
Puis il faut que je lise le français après.
Non,
Avant.
Non?
Fait que
je
je-
vais,
je
je
vais
vais recommander
OK.
qu'on ne lise pas le français. Et une fois qu'on va adopter ceci, we'll just make a motion that we will,
ça,
hein? The dispense of the reading.
je pense qu'il faut...
Lire en français et anglais la fin, hein, c'est
Oui, lis la partie là,
oui,
en
peut-être juste
français
pour
et en anglais.
intervenir, c'est parce que le processus d'afficher tout ça est vraiment réglementé par la loi. Fait que je pense que, étant donné qu'il n'y a pas de gens qui regardent,
Zero viewers.
and because the law says it has to be read in entirety, and we did that. And because there's no viewers, nobody here to intervene or interject. If all councillors, because the intent of reading all this is that to make sure that all councillors also understand the proposed bylaw. So if you all feel you understand and you don't want to go through the French reading, I think because there's no viewers, because it's such a long bylaw and it's pretty clear, and because the whole kit was available on Friday, Julia, for public consultation, so I would think we wouldn't be steering away from the law. It's been read its entirety, and it would avoid you guys from having to stay here another hour.
Ça fait 45 minutes.
Right.
So-
So then she could move right away.
Read the I move this.
Is everybody okay, or? We need to make sure
Tout le
everybody
monde
agrees
sont-
to this, but yeah.
Councillor Fred, Councillor Babcock, Councillor Loga, you're satisfied with that?
Faut-tu que je lise cette partie-là?
No? You're on mute?
No, I want to practice my French. We're breaking the rules.
Yeah.
Peux-tu que je lise cette partie-là aussi?
Councillor,
Non, juste ça.
Councillor
Okay.
Savoie, Deputy Mayor Cyr. Okay, let's move there and
Okay.
let's end.
I move that this constitute the reading in full of bylaw number 813, a bylaw establishing a code of conduct for members of council of the city of Hamilton. Je propose que cette lecture constitue la lecture dans son intégralité de l'arrêté numéro A13, un arrêté établissant un code de conduite pour les membres du conseil municipal de la city of Hamilton.
Do we have a seconder, a secondaire? Seconded by Councillor Babcock.
Third, bylaw number 813.
Oh, we had to vote.
Sorry.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contre? Motion approved.
Third bylaw number 813, a bylaw establishing a code of conduct for members of council of the city of Hamilton. I move that this constitute third reading by title of bylaw number 813, a bylaw establishing a code of conduct for members of council of the city of Hamilton. Troisième, arrêté numéro A13, un arrêté établissant un code de conduite pour les membres du conseil municipal de la city of Hamilton. Je propose que cette lecture constitue la troisième partie de l'arrêté numéro A13, un arrêté établissant un code de conduite pour les membres du conseil municipal de la city of Hamilton.
Do we have a seconder?
I'll second.
Seconded by Deputy Mayor Cyr. On the question, sur la question, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Against? Motion is carried. At this time, I'm just looking here for the right term. We will dispense with the reading of the bylaw in French as approved by members of council and with no members here in public and with viewers being at zero. Étant donné qu'il n'y a aucune personne qui écoute notre réunion présentement, ça fait 45 minutes et plus. S'il y a des questions, nous allons faire face aux gens.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes?
Well, you know, it's curious. I was just reading some language laws in the province website where it says, you know, that we have to make, when your population exceeds a certain amount, you need to make all your bylaws and that in both official languages, which is great. What are other municipalities like Fredericton, St. John, and them doing? Are they reading all their bylaws?
No, you have to have 25% or more of the other language, the second language. Tidet has to. Atholville doesn't have to. Dalhousie has.
It doesn't say nothing about reading them. It just says make them available.
That's right. They're all available. They're all there in both official languages. So all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Against? Motion is carried.
Councillor Brent wasn't there for voting.
Yeah,
You'll have to wait. We were voting on the adjournment, or?
No, the third by title.
Okay.
Just to Thank you very much, Councillor Parent. Merci énormément. C'est une longue lecture.
Merci d'avoir. Ben, je voyais tout le monde, everybody. I mean, if there would have been viewers,
Eh?
but there was none. So.
Spring reading.
Yeah, and the thing is that it is on her
We're still
Facebook.
online. Oh, it's true.
So it is on her Facebook and on her page.
It was even long to go to scroll.
Hmm?
It was even long to scroll.
Yeah.
Reading it?
Mm-hmm.
So there's another process that is available, and we were waiting for a new website to put that in place, because our website is so not convivial, but you can post with advertising and all that, and then you read a summary at council.
But-
So we'll have to get to this.
But when she was reading, we could also have a text. I don't know how they do it, but as she's reading, there's a text in the second language that is under showing. So, we would have to look at that. That would help a lot.
But it wouldn't help for the public here.
No, but if we made the documents available. So we were voting, Councillor Babcock,
But the viewers have a
so
call
just
from
on the
our
motion,
website.
on
You
the
need to come and
code. So there was a motion made in regards to the code of conduct, the third reading. On the question, sur la question, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Against? Motion is carried. Notices of motion. Motion of which notices have been given. Ajournement ou clôture de la séance.
Je propose l'ajournement.
Il est proposé par le conseiller Savoie que la réunion soit clôturée à 8h20. All those in favor? Against? Motion is carried.
So Greg, you didn't know, but somebody proposed that you read it in French.
On a encore. Bon,